you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism, so you're burning more.
Yeah,
Try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. RidUZone.com. RIDUZone.com.
Hey, it's Try This Dish Radio. How's everybody doing out there today? And I'm waiting for Sean to show up in a little car trouble, but I think he's going to phone in a minute. So welcome to Try This Dish Radio. Thank you for tuning in. And we are working on our 10-episode series for the World Food Championships. So, of course, we have a new another champ coming on today. And Patrick, you're gonna have to come help me in a minute because I'm getting nervous. You know.
Did you really say that Sean is having car problems?
He is.
Sean, I'm calling Bravo Sierra. Okay, sleeping in is not car problems. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Now, granted, my drive is only 30 seconds of a walk, but no, I'm just joking.
Yes, it happens. It happens. But
it happens to me more than most.
It's all good. We're gonna talk the World Food Championships today. We have the burger champ coming on today, Mr. Neil Daniel from Atlanta, Georgia. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the final table because I have some really neat news on that. As in, I'm going to do radio coverage. So super, super excited. Okay. So Neil's on the line?
Yeah, he's live.
Hey, Neil, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you today?
We're doing great. Welcome to the show and congratulations on your win. I know that was an exciting thing for you, for anyone, of course. So I was looking at your bio a little bit and you are from Atlanta and you and your wife own Kirby G's, correct?
That's correct. 50 Diner.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in the food industry? Because, you know, we always want to just do a little bit of details and to get started.
Sure. So a little bit of details about it. My wife and I, opened Kirby G's about 2008, right about the time the economy crashed.
Mm-hmm.
And she had prior experience in the restaurant industry. I had not. I grew up with a mother who worked in a bakery.
Okay.
So I had a little bit of experience with her teaching us things at home, cooking. So that would probably be how we got started, truly the burger side of it. When the economy crashed, we had some young lady come in with 11 live views asking to try hamburgers on the south side of Atlanta. And lo and behold, we were named the top 5 burger place. And within a couple of years later, we were named the best burger in Atlanta by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution readers. And then again, the following year by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution readers. And so ever since then, burgers have kind of been a mainstay. And obviously, you know that we won the World Burger Championship this past year, so it's continued to build each year.
Well, congratulations once again. So now the final table is coming up, you guys, and this is going to be in New Orleans the weekend of the 18th and 17th and 18th, I believe, and it is going to be held at Nochi in New Orleans. Yes, and how are you preparing for that going forward? What do you got up your sleeve? Anything? Any tricks? You don't have to tell us all your tricks, but you know.
You know, I tell you, the one thing I think that I've done probably more than anything is a lot of research. Obviously, we're cooking destination this year. I'm not cooking burger when I'm there, so I'm learning a lot of new stuff about Cajun food. And I spent a lot of time doing a lot of research and preparing there. We're working on the execution part of it now, trying to put the flavor profiles and things together, obviously, that would benefit us the most. And so that's pretty much what we've been doing.
Now, Sean, are you on the line?
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to have Neil call back in just a second. We had a little stacky stuff, but we're dealing with it. We're dealing with it. So what's going on? You slept late? Come on, Sean.
No, actually, I'm having battery problems with my van, and unfortunately, I parked my car in the garage, and the van's parked right behind it, so I can't get the car out, and I can't move the van.
All right. Well, we are talking with, Neil. We have him call back.
Sean, come on, man. I was hungover this morning, too, but, the 80-foot walk, I made it on time.
I haven't brought tacos.
I'm teasing you, man. I'm teasing you.
You know, I wish I was hungover. I think that would be less embarrassing.
No, look, it's you'd be surprised. I locked myself out of the car one time, and it didn't make it to the show. So that's pretty bad.
I have something a little bit better. I actually, the car that's in the garage that I can't get out, I actually was pulling something out of it to go to work, and I actually turned the car on and locked myself out, and I had to use a coat hanger to get into the car to get to my job on time, and I still was 2 hours late.
Well, that just happens sometimes. Anyway, welcome back to the show, everybody. Once again, we're trying to get on track here, having a little bit of flippy floppy on our technical stuff, but let's talk about where you can hear the other episodes. We've had 5 out now, so you can go to Pardon My Fork on Facebook, and Andy Imhoff is the host of Pardon My Fork, and he's got 5 of the episodes coming out. He's already got 2. Greg Berger and Peter Radjow have come out already, so check them out. Then Patrick Mosher with Food Biz Pro here at Spoony has done 2. He's done, I lost my train of thought. So you can just go to Spoony and catch up on the episodes.
No, come on. I did. So Robert Mansfield is my guest last week, right, from New Jersey. He's the steak champion. And then I did yesterday, I had the chef champion, which was Nick Rickman. And what a character. What a fun interview. Matter of fact, that lasted all 2 hours. It was really, it was the easiest day of show prep I've ever had to do.
I missed it because
Such a good guy.
I was in a job interview. Shh, don't tell anybody. But and I've been traveling all over the place, so I'm a little road weary, but I'm fixing to head to San Antonio, which is another 5 hours, and hopefully it won't be raining. But anyway, you guys check out the other episodes, and we will have, next week we'll have Lydia, the chicken champ, on. And I believe the rest of the shows will all roll out and will be completed by next Tuesday. And then you can replay them anytime you want to. So reach out to us at trythisdishradio@gmail.com. I will be looking for new guests to have on after this series. So if you have a product or a brand, or you just want to talk about cooking, hit me up.
And not to mention, after today, you have replays going on Sunday and Monday at the same time.
Thank you, Patrick, for coming sitting in here with me, because I was kind of nervous a little bit.
Well, you know what? When we have technical issues, it's always an issue. Yeah.
What do you mean you're nervous? What's that all about?
I don't know. I'm just a little flustered. I don't know. It must be the stars. I have no clue. Now, I was wondering if we have Neil back on the line. Neil, are you there? Yeah, he's probably going to call back.
Hello?
Neil, there you are.
I'm here.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. That sounds great. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. So let's talk a little bit about the team that is working with you, because we know how important our sous chefs are throughout the whole process. So why don't you give a little shout out to your team?
Sure. I have to give a shout out to Justin and Lindsay Nichols, and obviously David Mooney. They're a part of my team. They're coming down to help us put this together. Justin and Lindsay have been with me many years and have been to the World Food Championships numerous times and have a lot of experience at it. Come at it with a practical sense of view to kind of have an idea of what we're trying to do. Obviously, like any great leader, you could not do this without your team. I can't stress how important they are in this whole process, because it's not just one person that's doing this. It's multiple people that are helping you put all this together so that the judges can get a good plate to taste and obviously view.
Yeah, and do you have any sponsors that are working with you, Neil, that you'd like to shout out to?
At the moment, I do not.
Okay.
I've been trying to get sponsors, but they're tough to get this time of year.
Yes, it is. Patrick?
Well, hey, so who do you want to sponsor? Let's see. We can go to Gotham Steel. What a great new line you have coming out.
I want those.
Marvin, thank you very much. Those are, I don't have them yet, but I'm hoping to get a set
Marvin.
so we can send them to Neil. But and who else? Let's see. We have
well, Walmart's the presenting sponsor.
Yeah.
Hello, the main presenting sponsor. We also have Springer Mountain Farms Chicken.
Well, who's the other one? The pork, the sausage.
Sausage.
Oh, Wampler. So
Mr.
Wampler.
Wampler's awesome.
Can I tell you, Mr. Wampler? Neil loves your product more than anything, and
I can't get it in Texas. I hate that.
We'll pass every cent through to the contributor. All right, Spoony keeps nothing. Just saying.
And but we'll be shouting out to the sponsors within the podcast version as well, you guys. But
there's red, there's red and
charcoal.
gold.
You talked about Cowboy charcoal.
There's red and gold
tomatoes.
Yeah, look, hey Neil, just throw some names out there, whatever you want.
Yeah, just throw it out there.
We'll
Bo
plug
Jackson Products.
Yeah, and we'll cut this and we'll send it to him. Okay.
There you go.
Well, I think you guys have done a fabulous job shouting out to them. So we would obviously use any of them, especially Wampler and Gotham City Steel. I mean, they're both big supporters of the World Food Championships, and obviously we like their product. It's been very useful, the things we've used in the past.
Patrick, what do you think about the? Let's talk a little bit about the different challenges at the final table. Yeah, it's exciting.
So what's really interesting? So we didn't know anything about this till yesterday, so I was talking to Nick yesterday, and I think he thought he had let something out that he shouldn't have when he talked about the eggs Benedict. But my big question to you, Neil, is. Now knowing what you're going to have to prepare these 3 dishes over 2 days, is there? And we're not trying to expose any weaknesses. I just, as a chef, I'm always curious. Are there any things that you think that you immediately thought you need to brush up on? Techniques, ingredients, the cuisine, obviously, because it's Nolo based, right? Nolo based. It's either Creole and or Cajun influenced, regional anyway. So was there anything that struck you when you found out what you're cooking that you needed to maybe find a mentor, practice, read some books, just cook the heck out of those dishes?
The one thing that goes over and over in my mind is 2 things. Number one, it's about execution. So obviously we are practicing eggs Benedict left and right. But the big thing I think about it is spending a little time learning about the heritage of the city, its roots, and the cooking that goes there. I think that's also important in all this whole process. And then trying to match it up with something that fits profile. And that's the big thing.
Well, it's a challenge if you win in dessert and you have to go. It does kind of level the playing field. We talked about that a little bit last week, where it really does bring up people's their other because if you're a dessert champ, I'm sure that's kind of a whole different thing to get ready for. Yep. So the stress level is probably a little high for everybody, I would say, even no matter what you're good at your cooking or your category, so to speak.
Actually, I would say, well, it might be for some, but for myself, I'm personally not stressing over it.
Good.
There's only so much you can do. If you show up and execute, you will win. If you don't show up and execute, you will not win. It's just that simple. You have to spend time working at what you're going to do and make sure that the flavors are something that the judges like. And so that's the 2 things I keep in mind in this whole process.
And I was going to talk a little bit about where the event's being held for the final table at Nochi. And your eggs are going to be coming from Nest Fresh Eggs is the one that's supplying the eggs for that. And so after the first round, you guys, is all 10 champs. After that, 5 will move forward to the second round, and that will be the next day. And this is, I'm going to let you say about this one, Patrick, the redfish bonveau. I can't do French.
Bienvenue.
Yeah, so that's it. I will totally Texas butcher that one.
Well, I mean, let's face it. I mean, redfish is really something that's a Louisiana classic, especially the stuff that comes out of Lake Pontchartrain. So, I mean, that's, what do you say? So the bigger thing besides the redfish is that this dish, right, is going to go on a very specific menu. And the menu it's going to go on is an iconic American restaurant that hasn't changed their menu in 100 years.
That's a third challenge.
Yeah. Well, that's the final dish, right? The final winning dish.
The final winning dish.
But
gotcha.
You have to get through there. You have to get through challenge 2 to get there.
Yeah.
And so, I think the biggest thing that the judges are going to be looking for is sticking to the traditions of the area. Now, making it your own is one thing, but remaining true to the region is going to be a focal point because they have all local judges, I believe, at the final table.
Yes, they do. We'll talk a little bit more about the judges as we go along. Also, so after the second challenge, then 3 go forward to the last one. Now, this is actually a closed event because it is going to be televised. Woo! So I'm excited I get to go and cover it. This just happened a couple nights ago. Thank you, Mike McLeod. And I will wrap up the series there doing pre and post interviews. and also get to be there during the first and second challenge. And I'm excited to go to New Orleans because I've only driven around. When we went to Orange Beach a couple years ago, we drove around to see Lake Pontchartrain. Well, we didn't see the lake, but we drove way around there, but we didn't actually go into New Orleans. So I've never been. So my mom's stoked about that too. So we're going to do that. And anything else you want to talk about?
So Neil, hey, I have a quick question for you before I get off the air. And thanks for allowing me to kind of interject here. Do you have a specific style of cooking that you think may give you an advantage, or that has made you familiar with these the foods you're going to have to prepare at the final table?
No, that's an interesting question there, because obviously the food we prepare is American style in the restaurant here. So obviously we're branching out into Cajun and Creole cuisine. And the one thing I think that for me that holds true in this whole process is, somehow if you blend this all together in a way that fits the judges, obviously it makes a big difference. We're cooking, Eggs Benedict is a breakfast dish, if you want to look at it that way. And then you go into an entree in the next round, and then the final round obviously is an appetizer type deal. So we've got 3 different dishes we're trying to come up with that fit different things. And I keep thinking it doesn't matter what I do with it as long as it's a flavor profile that the judges like and we execute well. So that's kind of where I'm sticking to my guns on that. To make a good dish.
That's awesome. And so, if I were a jerk, the thing that's the way to get the truth or secrets out of people is to ask question after question after question that are in line with that. And I would have said, so how are you going to prepare those? What's your 3 options? But I wouldn't make you let the cat out of the bag. Hey, I wish you all the luck in the world. Good luck. There's some stiff competition. Actually, my guest from last week is a little under the weather. He's got a herniated disc, so we'll keep him in our thoughts, and hopefully he'll make it to the event. But I don't have a favorite, but I'm gonna pick a favorite now.
You are?
One of the 10 is gonna win.
Oh,
I know.
I think you might be right. One of the 10.
Hey, Neil, and by the way, look, anytime you want to call into Spoony Radio, just let us know. We'll give you information later on, and we'd love to have him as a guest. And we would love a follow-up interview, regardless of how anyone places. We would love a follow-up with all 10 of the finalists going to the final table, and just kind of get a rundown of how things went, and just a little insight to maybe influence and or inspire others to compete.
That's perfect, guys. I would love to be back on with you guys.
Thanks, sir.
I was going to have you give a shout out to your place that you guys run up there, Kirby G's, and tell everyone where they can find it, and then where they can find you on social media as well. So if they're in the Atlanta area, they can come check you out.
Sure. You can find the 2018 World Burger Champ at Kirby G's Diner. We're in Metro Atlanta on the south side, about 20 minutes from the airport. You can find us on social media at Kirby G's Diner on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. So look us up and come see us.
Now, what do you got going on for? Let's move past the final table and see about this year's event is in Dallas, as we all know. And whoever's listening that doesn't know about the World Food Championships, it's the largest food sporting event in the world, and it's moving to Dallas, Texas this year, and it's going to be the Reunion Lawn. You can go to worldfoodchampionships.com for more info, or check them out on Facebook, World Food Championships. Now, the event is moving from November to October. And what are you going to do? Have you already signed up? Are you not even thinking past the final table?
I haven't even thought about October yet. I'll get to October after May.
Well,
we'll be there, obviously.
You'll be there for sure.
We're going to compete.
And it's October 16th through the 20th. I'm just checking my notes because a little bit's changed this year for the amount of days and things like that. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. If you want to get tickets, you can go online. They have everything about the schedule on there. And if you want to volunteer, they're going to be looking for volunteers, and you can work for food. Their t-shirts usually say, "We'll work for food." If you're in the Dallas area and you want to do that, now they're having a EAT certified judging class. I believe on Saturday. It may be full, but I'm not sure. You could still check that out. If you wanted to become a judge, you do have to be EAT certified. So there are classes throughout between now and October. There'll be more classes. So just kind of check them out and stay in tune with that one. And Sean, did you ever come back on the line? We were having some issues and we lost Sean. Are you there?
I am here. How are you doing?
There you are. You're loud. I don't know what's going on. Sean, I wanted to see if you would like to ask Neil a couple questions, and we can carry over the next segment. We have about 5 minutes left.
Yeah, Neil, what is your, as a person that loves hamburgers, what's the best way to make a hamburger?
Yes, tell me.
Wow. So I get asked this question a lot, and,
I bet.
and I'll give you the key. I'll give you the keys that I tell everybody else.
Okay.
Number one, you must season your meat. If you don't season it, doesn't matter. It's going to taste plain.
Okay.
The second thing I would tell you is that sauces make a difference. So if you put a sauce on it, be sure to where it's not overpowering. The third thing I would tell you is if you can put the 5 senses of taste in that burger and in a subtle fashion, you will make a fantastic burger. And if you think about some of the classics that are out there, I'll just use a Big Mac for an example because it's out there, but the sauce they put on it is typically something like Thousand Island, so it's got a little tangy but sweet into it. So you have your cheese profile, and so that's what people are doing when they're making great hamburgers, and I would tell you to stick with the same thing. The last thing I would tell you that actually absolutely helps is no matter whether you use a ground chuck or something typical, it needs to be an 80 to 20% blend of meat to fat. And that is key. If you get it too lean, it's going to taste very dry. If you get it too fatty, then the burger tends to fall apart. And those are the tips that I would tell you.
And do you mix the seasonings into it? Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask real quick, Sean. Do you mix them into it or do you just put them on the outside? Because I always go back and forth on that.
Mixing what into it?
The spices. Seasoning? Yeah, the seasoning.
You can do it both ways. And how we do it in the restaurant is actually we put it on the outside. It tends to do better on the outside, especially salt and things like that. If you put it inside of it, it tends to dry out the burger. So my preference is to put it on the outside.
Gotcha. I think you guys have won a burger award up there too in Atlanta. I think I saw that somewhere.
We've won several.
Yeah.
We've won several burger awards up here in Atlanta. So
congratulations.
Best burger in Atlanta twice.
Wow.
So yeah.
Sean, I'm just wondering if we're going to go to Atlanta and get a burger. I want a burger now.
Yeah, I'm just dreaming about a good burger. That's all I can say. I love hamburgers. Now, as far as what, people use, and I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but people use, like you said, season the burger on the outside. What about the French fries that goes with it? Because there's all types of fries out there. I prefer just plain fries with a little bit of salt. Do you see a trend with hamburgers and French fries? Is there something new coming out that people are beginning to do when they're cooking these dishes?
Well, honestly, probably French fries are still the staple, I would say. I probably sell more French fries than anything. The one thing that my wife had requested when we started this business up was that it had to be a crispy fry. And so that tends to ring true to this day, to have a very crispy fry that has a good flavor to it. That would be probably the big thing. But the thing that we probably serve second to none right now almost is we serve something. It's a fried green bean, and people love it.
Nice.
So they're battered. You fry them in a deep fryer, and they are fantastic if you get the flavor right. If you don't, they can taste really bad. But they are a big item right now with the public because they are trying to convince themselves they're eating a little bit more healthy. So I guess if you
sweet potato fries, yummy. I love those.
Ooh.
Yeah, sweet potato fries.
Sweet potato is only meant for Thanksgiving and Christmas and maybe Easter, not in a French fry. I'm sorry.
No, they're good. They're good.
100%.
Yeah, no. You can't. I mean, that's like eating fried fish with I don't know, sauerkraut or something. No, it gotta have a French fries in there.
Well, you guys, we're going to wrap up the first segment here pretty soon. So tell everyone real quick, Neil, and thank you for coming on the show, and congratulations on your win. Good luck moving forward, and best of luck to you. And you guys can find him at Kirby's Diner on Facebook. I believe you do have a page. find us at Try This Dish Radio.
Kirby G's.
Yeah, Kirby G's. And any other locations?
At the moment, just one.
Okay.
That's it for now.
All right. Well, congratulations. Thanks for coming on. And stay tuned. On the other side, we're going to talk some more about the WFC and some of the great sponsors and the final table. And Sean, is your van fixed or not? I don't know. We'll find out on the other side. Y'all come on back.
Have you done it? You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror?
I'm one of those people you don't want to see naked.
Yeah, most of us. But I mean, you look and you're going, what the?
I know.
How did I get to whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. Hey there, it's Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs to tell you about a different way to shed those pounds. This is brand new tech. It's only been around for a couple of years or so. It was based on research from the University of California that said there's a molecule called OEA that's found naturally in your body. It produces it in the Mediterranean diet, that when taken in concentrated amounts, it will actually make you feel fuller and boost your metabolism.
I've lost about 10 pounds so far.
It's
using
amazing.
It
Now,
really is cool.
A company said, we can take this to market and make this great product that'll help you. It's called Riduzone, RIDUZone.com, RIDUZone.com. It's Brad's work. It's worked for Brad's, worked for me, countless other people. Go to Riduzone.com and try today. You're going to love it. Riduzone.com. Remember that, RIDUZone.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines. 800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
Welcome back to Try This Dish Radio, and we have Patrick Mosier sitting in with me because I needed some support.
Nah, come on, I'm the victim of your guest of the hour.
That's right. We can pick your brain a little bit too. So,
not much to pick.
Yeah, thank you, Neil, for calling in. We really enjoyed talking with you. Once again, good luck moving forward towards the final table. Sean, are you still on the line?
I am.
Did you start your van yet? We're waiting.
No, the thing is, it's an older van, so it's got one of those beat up battery posts or battery clamps on it, and so I can't get the nut tight enough to wrap it around the battery. So I've tried every trick that I know. I used to work on cars as among other things, and I just can't get it to grab. And it's just, I've been fighting with it for the last 3-4 weeks.
Do we got a call-in car show he can call in to get some help?
Hey, Click and Clack, the Tacker Brothers, they're no longer around. One of them passed away, unfortunately, back in Boston. They used to be on PBS every weekend. Car Talk, remember Car Talk Radio?
I do actually.
They were on for 31 years. Anyway, so you've tried the screw between the post and the clamp. I know, never mind. You've tried it all. The screw.
I tried
the
that.
nail beside the screw. You can buy the what's that called? The not posi strut. It's the unistrut. It's the little flexible. It's like metal tape that has holes in it, but you wrap that around it, make it thick enough. But yeah, you're right. If it won't grip, dude, you're gonna have to replace the cable.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I brought tacos. I want to talk about food. I'm tired of the car talk. I also brought some strawberry banana bread.
That's all I do is talk about food. Let's talk about. No, I'm just joking.
What kind of
I do need my tires rotated.
What's that all about?
I know I'm a mess.
What kind of tacos did you bring?
I grabbed some tacos from Rosas in Keller, I believe, but I might be in what's that called? Anyway, I was on my way here, so
You're asking the guy from Houston and originally New York.
I can't say these names out here. They're so weird. I've been calling this place Haltom City for 2 weeks. It's Haltom.
Did you see the tornado as it went skipping by your area?
Yeah,
yesterday?
actually, we were on the back porch and we didn't really see it, but you could see it was kind of a scary evening, and and I got to drive today, so I'm hoping it's not going to rain on me all the way to San Antonio, but I think it is in the forecast. This is tornado time in Texas. So real quick, I want to talk about Sean. Try This Dish Radio is going to be replayed on Sunday and Mondays.
Yeah, Sunday, Monday, right now at the same time.
And so our show that we did the week before will
we'll find a couple more slots that'll be off. It'll be different hours from that, but we'll post it so that everybody knows when you're playing.
And if you want to catch the first 4 episodes of with the World Food Champs, head to Pardon My Fork with Andy Emhoff. He has a Facebook page. You can find the links there for Peter Rajow and Greg Berger's episode. And then he's going to be putting out Oliver Sievers, the barbecue champ from Germany. That'll come out next week. And Bo Smith, who's a seafood champ, will come out next Wednesday. And then David Molina, the sandwich champ, next week too. And then we have Lydia coming on, and that'll be a wrap up for us by next Tuesday. It's been fun.
Yeah, and so I had Robert and Nick on. Robert Mansfield and then Nick Rickman. So if you want to check that out, go to Spoony Radio on Facebook. You can watch the live interview as just a replay of the live video, or you go to Spreaker.com. iHeartRadio is the other place. Yes, YouTube
I've been watching
as well.
Him on YouTube. Yeah.
So here's the funny thing: is that Andy was very worried about his German last week. I'm not sure. I need to brush up on the German. So hey, Andy, give me a call anytime. Wir können ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen. Ja, ich kann Deutsch sprechen. Ja, ich habe in Deutschland studiert vor 4 Jahren. Yeah.
Wurstfest and beer. That's about it on my German.
So it's funny. I studied German and Japanese. If I had just studied Italian, which I tried, I would have had the Axis powers, completely covered. That's awesome. I know. I'm a bad American that hates bacon.
I know really bad Spanish, but
I know really bad words in Spanish.
I do too, but we can't talk about that now. It's no bueno.
I'm learning Tagalog.
Do what now?
Tagalog?
I'm learning Tagalog.
Dude, that's a hard language from the Philippines. Yeah.
Oh, Tagalog. Yeah, it is. It's very different.
Well, so there's a lot of influence in that language, and not to get off food, but you know what? This food language culture, I mean, it all crosses over, right? Mm-hmm. We talk about Philippines now. We're talking about the language, but the food in the Philippines has a huge amount of influence from the Portuguese, the English,
yes,
but the Portuguese specifically, right? Mm-hmm. That like their the Portuguese black bean soup that comes out of the Philippines is probably the best soup I've ever had. It's I can't even. I'm telling you what the
can't even explain it.
No, the Portuguese sausage that comes out of the Philippines is probably better than that which comes out of Portugal. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
And then they do some crazy crap.
Real diverse food.
They do some great like avocado ice cream on a hot dog bun.
That's just weird. That's strange. That's just not right.
And
That's just not right.
You talk about sweet potatoes. They have this ice cream that is actually made out of purple sweet potatoes.
Yeah, the Japanese purple yam. Yeah, absolutely. The wild from Okinawa. Yeah, so they also have the purple. They have that one. They have avocado. But what's funny is
yes,
you've been in Manila, right? Where they serve it. You go to the big square there and they actually serve it on a hot hamburger bun, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you know the story? Do you know the story behind that?
And what's the story behind that?
Okay, this is what I heard. Right, is that they ran out of ice cream cones one summer, right? And one entrepreneurial young salesman who had an ice cream stand decided, hey, you know what? I don't have any of that, but that corner store right there, that store, the grocery store has hamburger buns. So he bought hamburger buns. He started serving it on that, and it became kind of this novelty. And it's the only place I've ever seen that done where they actually serve the ice cream on bread. I've seen bread stuffed ice cream.
Wow.
Like frozen. Yeah, there are some like frozen desserts like that in other countries, but I've never seen that before, and it's still to this day kind of a classic thing to get when you, especially if you go to Manila. But bizarre, but yummy.
We need to do a bizarre foods episode. There you go.
You have to remember that they put hot dogs in spaghetti.
Oh,
hey, wait. You know what's? They're not the only ones. So hey, look, there's a thing called Swedish pasta. Okay,
Yeah.
I worked for a private family in LA, a very very well-to-do family, but they're of Swedish descent, and the children, their favorite every night I had made a separate meal, 3-course meal for the parents. I had to cook for the grandmother. Well, actually 4 meals. The mother of the mother of the family, the grandmother of the family. She had typically salmon and whatever grilled vegetables almost every night. But the children had a separate meal, and the nanny had a separate meal. But the children every single night they wanted Swedish pasta. I'm like, what in the world is Swedish pasta? It's basically you boil macaroni, and then you make a bechamel sauce, a really simple milk thickened with a roux and seasoned, and then you add a little ketchup to it and sliced up hot dogs.
Wow.
And now look, if you're Swedish and I'm doing this wrong, that's what they taught me. But I was like, really? Hot dogs, ketchup, bechamel, macaroni. I mean, really, you've covered pretty much every continent and every type of cuisine.
Well, our big meal growing up that we loved, my mom wasn't the real, she cooked, but my dad was the one that had the passion for cooking. So mom just kind of cooked when she had to. Hey, mom, love you. Anyway, she would make beanie weenies and macaroni and cheese, y'all. That's like,
that's a classic.
That's a
What's wrong with
classic
beanie
right there.
weenies?
I love beanie weenies. I'll still eat a beanie weenie.
That's
I will.
a classic.
I will. But I doctor mine up. Yeah.
Throw in a grilled cheese sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can I tell you? So, grilled cheese sandwich. You've seen the movie Chef, right?
Yes, I love that movie.
Yes.
When he's teaching his little man how to make a grilled cheese sandwich the right way, little mayonnaise on the outside, and they melt the butter on the flat top of that griddle. The thing about grilled cheese is it's butter, mayonnaise, cheese, whatever. It gets a little rich. And so the way I like to do it is to put something a little sweet and tangy in the middle. So you put I typically put I cook the halves separately. So I toast the top halfway,
right.
Then I put the bottom in the pan, melt the cheese, broil it. Actually, I use brie. And sometimes Havarti.
I like Gouda.
Yeah, Gouda's good too. But anything that's I just use a mild creamy cheese, and then when you take that out, I put like mixed greens with an apple fennel vinaigrette on there, and then like some 1/4-inch sliced green apple, like a gala, and then you put the top back in and just toast it the rest of the way and put it on there, and it's one of my favorites.
I had an idea too, you guys. Since we're here talking together and we're just kind of talking food and things like that, I don't know. The other day I had this idea. Let's share a funny food story that is maybe something that you did or has happened in your life. That's because I got 2 straight off the box. But Patrick, what do you got? Something that just comes to mind about something you cooked or anything like that was a funny food. I'm going to call it FFFS. Funny foods. No, that was too many F's. Sorry, y'all.
FUFS. Effed up food stories.
There you go.
All right, so
I started a new series. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
It was, I think it was Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, yes. And I was in culinary school in Denver. And I knew how to make Japanese cuisine, but I'd never really studied, Western cooking, except what my mother told me a little bit, taught me over the years. So I'm at my sister's house, and it was not Thanksgiving Day. No, it was. Oh, crap. Yes.
Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah. So, okay, there are 2 really bad stories. I'll tell you this one, though.
All right.
The turkey comes out. I turn the oven on low broil, and I put I made candied yams from scratch on the stovetop, and then I, of course, put the marshmallows on top, and I put them in the oven on broil. Well, they weren't, it wasn't browning or heating through, and I was like, wonder if I put it on high broil and put it up one shelf. Mm-hmm. And 1 rack. Thank you for playing. Try again next week, right?
No, ding,
wrong
ding,
answer,
ding.
let me tell you. So what happened was, instead of it browning and melting, it actually lit on fire. Instead,
Flambe?
no. So my sister smells the smoke first. She runs into the other room. She opens the oven door. The flames burst out up over the front of it, which is it's going to happen, right? So the thing is, at that point, you just step back and let the flames die down. And instead, I said, "Wait!" No, she grabs the fire. I would have just grabbed a towel and threw it over the sweet potatoes. She grabs a fire extinguisher.
Oh, no.
and sprays the entire inside of the oven and the top of the stove and the sides. Yes, so
I guess you didn't eat those, right?
Not only did we not have sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving, I had about 4 hours of cleanup to do. It was a funny story though.
Marshmallow. I can see that fire extinguisher going, and just the marshmallow going everywhere in the hot oven.
The thing is, and it's not a foam like you think. It's a powder, right? It's this white chalky powder that gets everywhere and it sticks. It doesn't wipe off like a liquid. It's no. I mean, I had a fire in a restaurant one time. It took us 4 weeks.
What's the best thing to use? Like baking? Did they say baking soda or just cover it up with a towel?
First thing is cover it, right? If it doesn't work, then baking soda works well.
Right.
Anything that removes oxygen, so anything that's a powder,
right?
Even salt would work.
If you're frying something and it catches on fire on stovetop, what's the best way to do that?
A dry towel, not a wet towel.
A
towel over the top, because if it's wet and there's oil in the pan, the oil it just wants to explode away from the water. So,
Sean, I know you have a story, because I hope it doesn't include hair dog.
Well, I was going to say, was that a dog in the background I hear? Are you filleting that thing up? Is it on its last leg? Because that was kind of...
That was funny.
Well, I do have one that hair dog is involved in. It happened this weekend.
Go ahead.
I was grilling some ribs, some pork baby back ribs on my grill. And of course, the grill and hair dog are in the same area. So I go inside and I hear all this racket, and I walk out there, and hair dog has jumped. Well, he grabbed the ribs. Let me say that. Now I don't know how that dog got those ribs off of that grill, as hot as it was. And I see him laying in the backyard just chomping away like he's an aristocrat sitting at a table.
Is he still alive?
Like, this crazy dog.
You know how he got those off there?
Huh?
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's alive, fat, and happy.
Oh,
every dog is essentially a wolf. That's how he got him off the grill.
He just jumped up there.
Opportunity.
I was more worried that he burned himself than anything else. I mean, that grill was pretty hot, but somehow he got him off of there. So I learned two things. One, I need to make sure that the dog is not up somewhere, and two, don't leave the lid open.
So how big is hair dog, by the way? I need to see a picture of this mutt. I mean, this dog.
You know what? You had a boxer in the studio with you a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah, he's about the same size. He's a boxer too, by the way. But he's about the same size.
One of my favorite dogs ever. That's actually a rescue dog that Ron, producer Ron over there, the man behind the glass, the god of the.
I thought that was Jeff.
Well, actually, Jeff is Jeff actually runs the show, right?
Thanks, Jeff.
He's the master. Mr. Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.
But Ron is the one. Up until now, we didn't have Jeff, so I always had to give props to Ron. But Ron, yeah, he adopted the dog a few weeks ago, and he's beautiful. I wish you would have stayed in studio the whole time, because I like dogs more than most people. You two are accepted from that for the most part.
I do too. I like dogs and cats better than most people. All good. Yeah.
I like.
Hush.
I might be a little needy, because it's nice to know that a creature, preferably a dog, is happy to see you every time, whether you be on 5 minutes or 5 hours or 30 seconds. They're so happy unconditionally to see you. We don't have that enough in life now. We're all so busy that we kind of forget how important that is in our lives. So, look, take a minute, look around, recognize the people you love, sit down, have dinner. That's the whole thing that's part of what we do, is we share the love of sharing food.
I got a story about that.
Your turn.
I do have a couple of funny stories. Of course, it involves my 4 sons, where I learned to cook after I started having my family. I really got into nutrition and cooking, and that's where I learned to cook, was just by cooking, and doing it. Because I did stay home, so I had time, and back in the day, that was what I did. So I had to make a whole lot of lunches, you guys, with 4 boys. Okay, like it would be a whole loaf of bread every day, because as they got larger, they want 2 sandwiches, right? So I'd have to do, they would go on cycles, peanut butter turkey, la, 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 la. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, when my youngest son was the last one at home, the last one that I had to make lunches for, he was a senior, because the other boys had moved on. So I was like, why am I griping? I only have to make 1 lunch now. Remember what you used to do? And he goes, I was like, son, you have senior skip day, so how many more peanut butter sandwiches do I have to make? I said, I want to know. And it's like, I counted it on my calendar, you guys. I know it sounds so silly, but I was like, I have 13 more peanut butter and jelly sandwich lunches to make, and then I'm done. Now, another story about my youngest son. He's now an engineer. I'm so proud of him, and I'm proud of all my sons, but he's in Houston, an engineer. So one morning I was making his eggs, because I would make him the same thing every morning before I would go to work. That was when I was in criminal justice. I would scramble an egg, put the toast, put it in a pan, because he woke up after I did, because I had to drive across town. And so I came home one night and he goes, Mom, would you mind not putting a hair in my eggs anymore? I'm like, oh, Jesse, I'm so sorry. Why are you telling me that now? Because I would be in there getting ready for work. And so just the way it came out of his mouth, he goes, would you mind not putting any hair in my eggs? And I'm like, oh, I did that on purpose, son. But okay, I'll try not to. Anyway, it was funny to me, you guys.
Extra protein. Don't ask, just eat it.
I know. I died laughing.
I'm always the one at the restaurant that gets that hair in the appetizer, and it's funny because I'll be with a group of like 20 people or 6 people or even 4 people. I just chew the food. I just politely pull the hair out. Just, you know what? Because it doesn't really. It's already been on the food in my mouth. What am I going to do? Am I going to make this huge complaint to the restaurant as the a-hole chef who happened to be there that day?
Yeah.
No.
But
What I do is I politely do that. I excuse myself from the table. I walk to the kitchen. I make sure everyone's wearing hairnets. If they're not, or a hat, then you say, "Hey, manager, I found this in my food.
Yeah.
I don't want any money. I don't want you to take care of it, but you might want to make sure somebody wears a hairnet."
Well, just the way he said it to me, it's like, Mom, could you not put hair in my food? I'm like, oh, yeah, I was over there doing that on purpose. But
just making sure you're eating your lunch.
Speaking of eggs, too, my oldest at one point, who'd been eating eggs every morning for like most of his life, he was probably about 13 at the time. So I make the eggs like I did every morning, a dozen eggs, a dozen biscuits, because my kids had a hot breakfast every single morning. That's what they got. I did it every morning and I was by myself for 17 of those years. So it was a lot of work. And he goes, one day I put the eggs in front of him and he goes, I don't like eggs. So I'm like, I told my sister this last week. He just looked up at me. He goes, I don't like eggs. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, I'm so sorry. You've been eating them every day. Did your kids do any of that kind of stuff? Kids are kind of weird like that.
I never gave him an option. Look, you can have what I cooked or cereal. That's your option.
Gee,
and you can't have good cereal.
Now telling me.
It's like dry cornflakes, no sugar. Bye.
See that's how I grew up. And I thank my mother for that because I've never really been a finicky eater, but I've seen kids that just won't eat anything, and then you wonder why everybody's fat in our country because nobody and they grow up like that. I know a guy right now.
What I cooked.
He absolutely cannot stand his food touching each other. I'm like, dude, really? It's
you know what? No, but when growing up, I couldn't have my food. I would they make this little separator for your food on the plate. You know that, right? It's like a little
it's like a cafeteria tray.
It's like
right?
It's a little V-shaped unit that you put 3 of them on a plate. You put the 3 items on the plate so they don't touch. But when I was a kid, it was very interesting. I don't care now. No, I get a little bit of everything or whatever's left. I don't care. Just pile it on the fork. Without dripping on your shirt, because chefs can't wear nice stuff because everything gets a grease stain. Mm-hmm. But when I was a child,
that's what's wrong with me.
Yeah, no, there's a lot more wrong with me than that. We'll get into that later. That's a whole other therapy session.
That's a Psychology 101 show right there.
Oh man, there's a lot with me that's broken with me. I'm just saying, and it wasn't just the few times my mom dropped me on my head.
Poor thing.
But I didn't like my food to touch because what I wanted to do is I would eat the least favorite food on the plate all at once, but I didn't want to get some of the good stuff. So it was like if it was really like meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and corn. Yeah. Well, out of that, corn's my least favorite, so you eat the corn first. But I don't want to get some mashed potatoes with corn. So I want all the mashed potatoes to be really good and not blighted by the corn, right? Not diluted. And then I eat the mashed potatoes, and then maybe a couple of bites of mashed potatoes left. Then I would eat that with the. I know. Honey. I was a quirky little child. Quirky.
Yeah.
Yeah, not any of the other odd words you're thinking of, but I could see that. Now it's not a problem, and it wasn't textural. It was just I ate least favorite to.
That's interesting.
To most favorite.
I never really thought about how I eat my food. I ate too much food. That's for sure.
That makes sense.
It does.
Okay,
I guess it does.
I can understand that, but I mean, this he's like. Because I had something on a plate. He's like, ooh, it's touching each other. I'm like, dude, really? Come on now. Don't play with me like that. You're kidding me, right? But the way you said it, Patrick, it makes sense. I can kind of see that. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know if it's a textural thing. I don't know what. I mean, and then we will eat Chinese food. I'm like, dude, most Chinese food is touching each other.
Well, hey, I appreciate you for trying to justify my oddball behavior as a child, but hey, so I think that people's personality is determined by the way they like their eggs cooked. However, I haven't yet determined what each style of eggs means. Right?
We should just do a whole show on funny food behaviors or funny food facts or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Food freaks. Food freaks.
We'll come up with a catchy name on that one.
Sean, do you have a favorite way that you're like? What's your favorite way to have your eggs cooked?
I have to say I like scrambled eggs soft with butter. To be honest with you, I mean I'll eat eggs really any kind of way, but that's my go-to preferred favorite.
Okay, so that wasn't any way. I'll eat them anyway. That was a very specific. You're high maintenance. Okay, Darie. I'm just joking. I'm joking.
I just like my over easy eggs, honey. Sloppy over easy with some toast. If I'm eating.
I'm just teasing, man. No,
was bad.
But look, you threw me a big softball on that one. How can I not take a swing?
I know.
You know, I mean, so over easy. That's okay. That's fine.
Over easy with some toast dipped in the blah, blah, blah.
So I like mine sunny side up, but I like to put a little water in the pan and steam it just so that
I like
it's
it to
not
be
too
warm. Like I like the running, but I don't like
the
cold.
yolk to be warm.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I'll eat them however you cook them if I don't have to make them. Put it that way. You ever had paleo pancakes?
I've made a couple of. I've made some almond ones.
Oh,
just recently they were pretty darn good.
Sean, have you ever made the easiest paleo pancakes in the world? The banana and egg ones. Thank you, Marie, for teaching me that recipe. But I'm telling you, it's the easiest preparation ever. That's
Listen
easy.
up, keto people and paleo people.
Well, and it's pretty common. It's pretty common, right? But it's one banana when it starts to turn ripe, and if it's got a couple of brown spots on it, all the better. Little ones, when it starts to just get mottled or spotted, you take that, mash it up with a fork, and then you add in one egg, or two eggs rather, for each whole banana. Just mix it up in a bowl until it's kind of smooth, and you make pancakes out of it. Now, granted, they're like the silver dollar 2-inch.
Yeah, they're
pancakes.
Small. You don't want to make them too big because the moisture is pretty heavy in them.
Yeah,
right?
and they don't turn as easily as regular pancakes. Basically, they're more dense. They're a little more dense. But once they're cooked, they're awesome. They're slightly sweet. They've got a great texture, and all you need is a touch of maple syrup, maybe a tiny bit of butter or whatever. They're awesome. They're easy to eat.
The other thing you can do with bananas too is freeze them. I used to do this with my
take the skin off and freeze them in a Ziploc.
Yeah, and freeze them, and because when I went through a whole year where my children did not have sugar for an entire year, like they had no sugar.
Meanie.
I know. But you know what? They didn't have one cold. They didn't have one cold that year. Not one cold either, by the way, I may say. So I would freeze bananas, and then you kind of let them thaw just a little bit, and you just put them in a blender and freeze them, and they're like ice cream. You can add a little bit of chocolate if you want to, or whatever other strawberries. But I'm telling you, the texture is real similar to ice cream, and it's a great substitute.
You want to go another layer? A level up of that. So Roy Yamaguchi, who's a pretty famous chef, he had Roy's. There used to be one in Austin, I think. So it was basically an Asian fusion. Roy grew up he was born in Tokyo and grew up in Japan, and then moved to Hawaii Maui when he was a little boy. And he grew up there with all this amazing produce and the influence of the island. So he came up with this fusion style cuisine. And I think there's Roy's Kahana Bar and Grill and Lahaina, which used to be there, I think it's moved. And then there's Roy's in Oahu, and then he had 15 restaurants, finally sold out. But he does this roasted banana puree, which ends up like a custard. Okay. So when the bananas start to turn brown, you take the whole banana in the skin. Okay. And you roast it in the oven about 400 degrees.
Roast it. Okay.
And when it about 15, 20 minutes later, you'll see the yellow juice, the liquid starts to leak out from typically the top. It'll split. And at that point, it's really juicy. You need to very carefully take it from the oven, let it cool down for a minute, and then hold it over the a container for a blender or a food processor. Blender works a little better, right, because it's higher speed. And then you just kind of shake the whole banana out of it. There's a lot of liquid that comes out, so you have to be really careful. There is. But then you puree it, and you can put it in like a ramekin or a ring mold and make whatever shape you want. And then you chill it down in the fridge, and it's the same thing. It's almost because you incorporate some air. It's light like a custard or an ice cream. Right. You could probably freeze it if you melted some chocolate into it.
You could probably add some other flavors to it, yeah.
But with like a macadamia nut caramel and some chantilly cream on top, oh man, it's unbelievable.
Oh, that sounds really good. There's a lot of things to do with bananas. I like them when they're spotted, when they're just sweet. Some people like them when they're green, but I like them when they're spotted. But never throw them away. Put them in your freezer and say, do them for banana bread. Just mix them into things, you guys. I don't know. I eat one banana for breakfast. That's what I have every morning. So I call them bananas.
See, my wife believes in freezing everything. Bananas, bitter melon. Have you had?
I don't like to waste
before?
anything. No.
Yeah, bitter. Bitter melon is.
You got 2 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Looks like an English cucumber.
I cannot stand the taste.
Oh,
you know what though? It's great for diabetes. Just FYI.
Oh no, I know. Trust me, my wife. My wife stays on it. But I can't. I mean, I've tried. I take the bitter melon. They have capsules that have bitter melon. I can't stand the taste. It is the nastiest thing I've ever had in my life.
Well, on that note, thanks, Sean. Thanks for calling in and being here today.
You're welcome.
Hey, Sean, good to hear from you. We'll see you next week in studio.
I'll be calling you here in a minute when I get on the road. And I'll call you. I'll call you in a bit. Thanks for calling in. And next week we'll see you in the studio. Hopefully you'll be good on that. You guys head to Try This Dish Radio on Facebook for more information on our broadcast. We're going to be rebroadcast on Spoony now on Sundays and Mondays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Our regular show right now is on Wednesdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, until further notice. That was my radio voice.
Replays on Sunday, Monday.
And replays on Sunday, Monday, same time. Yes.
Absolutely. So, man, I can't wait till Final Table happens. You got invited.
To go. I did. I sneaked in the back. I do it. I'm just good at that. I'm good at that. Thank you, Mike McLeod.
She didn't. Well, she kind of got invited. Look.
I pushed the. I do that.
Good for you.
I do.
We weren't smart enough to.
I'm fully supportive of this event. It'll be a great wrap up for the series that we're doing.
Are you doing the Eat class this Sunday? Mike's going to be in town, so
I'm already certified, but no, I'll be back up here in Dallas probably Sunday or Monday to get ready for the show next week. So you guys, thank you for listening, everyone. Come back, cook something with someone you love. That's what I always say. It's all about the food, as Sean says. Since he's not here, I have to say it. It's all about the food and cooking for love. Thank you.